Okay, hey everyone, welcome to this training on how to install a $3 an hour virtual assistant or VA to book you 40 calls a month or more for your business. So this is based off a post that I shared. It's quite an old post now, back last year after I'd had a holiday, and I had gone away for a week and left my virtual assistant at work, and I came back to 15 calls booked in my diary, and I was able to close nearly 10 grand in sales just in the first week back from my holiday. And I shared that at the time. And as you can see from this screenshot, that I got, nearly 300 comments on that post of people wanting to find out how I'd done that. And so ever since then, what I've been doing is sharing with people how I've been using a virtual assistant for over a year now for my business to appointment set for me. And now how increasingly I'm helping my clients to hire their own virtual assistant and do a lot of the heavy lifting of their cold outreach. I'll just share with you what we've been learning over the last year in this short training. Basically, who this is for people who have a proven system for getting clients in place, but you're finding the process quite manual. So you're basically working too much in your business and you're not having that time and that leverage to work on your business and do the high level like CEO strategy or content creation or sales calls, the other things that are really going to move your business forward. Or you just find that you can't take a break. So you can't walk away from your business for a week or a few weeks of holiday without your lead flow just totally drying up. And being able to systemize this and build a team around you and doing that in a really cost-effective manner with virtual assistants is such a great way of moving forward. But if you're someone who you're starting out and maybe you don't have a message yet that's really working for your offer, or you don't really have an offer that's proven, or you're not really sure on which channel you're getting clients, then what I suggest, rather than kind of going through this training, is go back, watch some of my other training, which is more about crafting your offer, creating outreach messages for LinkedIn and email and things. There's more foundational training that I've already got. If you're the kind of person who's already got a message that's working, you already have a sales process in place, you really just want to systemize that, then this training is for you. So the first step is to create an SOP, which is a standard operating procedure. Now, it could sound technical, but really what it is a recipe. So you want to write down everything you do into step-by-step instructions, like you're creating a recipe for someone else to create a cake or follow the instructions for a meal. You want everything to be very clear. So you want your list of ingredients, and then you want everything in clear step-by-step manner. Imagine that you're getting someone who's not an expert, so like your mom or a cousin or a friend, to follow your recipe. So you just want to make it really abundantly clear, every single thing that they're meant to do, by measurement and by pieces and by time and by temperature and all of those things. What I also suggest is you create a video guide, which is basically written work through, but you've also got a video work through, so a visual walkthrough of exactly what you're asking a VA to do. And I can show you an example of an SOP in a minute. So here's a screenshot of a video training that I've created for my virtual assistant, because one of the jobs that I ask her to do is to take lists of leads and clean them for me in NeverBounce. If you're doing cold outreach, you know that cleaning your data is something that's really necessary, but also quite time consuming. So that's a little 12-minute video training that I created for her. Let me just go out and I'll show you an SOP that I've created. And so you could just get a view of how simple it is, really. I have edited this just for sharing purposes, but you can see that really it's just a Google Doc. I make them in Google Docs so that they're really easily editable. And you just want to spell out exactly how long it takes them, have some key links. So your video guides, just link them here. I just create something in a Zoom call and then upload it to Vimeo, so it's always viewable and shareable via just a simple link. And then I add key resources, and these are just links to Google Sheets, so outreach trackers, campaign overviews, and things like CRMs and VPNs and stuff like that. So you just create short links here, and then you've got all your steps, step by step, and then you might even have scripts and things right at the bottom. So essentially, this is where you just create everything in a step-by-step manner. Let me actually show you this video guide. So here it is just in Vimeo. And this is a short video guide in how to use the CRM database. So it's a 10-minute video, just a walk through this SOP. I'm just walking her through this SOP. but then I'm actually implementing all of the steps and talking to her about that so that she can both see it and read it at the same time. And yeah, something that's really great for your VA to do is be able to log data into your CRM. So that's just something that's time consuming if you're using Google Sheets and other kind of spreadsheets, and then get them to actually log it right into your CRM. Time saver for you. The next step is obviously for recruiting a VA is to create a really clear job description. So I can also share with you a job description that I've created. They're fairly standard things. You could probably take a job description from anywhere, like on LinkedIn, and just kind of copy the format. Usually you start with who you are and your a little bit about your company, just 1 or 2 lines, and then outline the role that you're hiring for. So not only the kind of high level role and title, but then the tasks that will entail. You know, we're going to be researching, we're going to be messaging, I'm going to ask you to do X, Y, Z, just list all the tasks. It's good to add all the expectations. So the hours that you expect them to work, particularly if you're in a particular time zone. So if you're in North America Eastern time, or maybe you're in UK GMT or whatever other global time zone. And if you want your VA to work during your hours, then just stipulate that so that they know that from the beginning. And if that's not suitable for them, they needn't apply. Just spell out what kind of breaks you're willing to give them, and then your hourly payments. So just for example, when I hire someone full-time, 40 hours a week, I tell them it's an 8-hour day with a break, so they can have a half an hour, 45-minute break in the day, and that's paid. But if they need other breaks, so like holiday or other things, then that's not paid, because they're a contractor, they're not an employee. I'm not paying them, vacation leave and stuff like that. Stipulate the exact skills that you require and the personality. And what that means is, if you need someone who's particularly good at paying attention to detail, or if you need someone with any kind of graphic design experience, or if you need someone who's a real go-getter, or someone who is very self-motivated, just spell out all of those things in your job description, and then end with a really clear instructions of how they can apply. So be as specific as possible, email here by this date, send me a cover letter and CV, and nominate, some times that we could have a conversation. Just make sure everything's really, really clear. So I'll go over and show you a job description that I created. So this is something I created a while ago for a virtual assistant for Facebook. You can see that I just outline a little bit about my company, the role, so what we're looking for, and the tasks here, and then the terms. So it's 40 hours a week, hourly pay, the skills and character. I want someone with English, fluent spoken and written English, experience with different tools. I need someone with a certain speed of internet, and things like that. And then instructions of how they can apply and what they should do. And one trick is in the application, like kind of call to action, you could add like something a little bit extra. So for example, you could request that they use a certain keyword or phrase in their subject line to capture your attention, but it's also a little bit of a test for them to make sure that they've actually followed all the instructions. And if you're going to get a whole lot of applications, you're able to eliminate some just right at the outset if they didn't put the keyword in the subject line of their email, things like that, because obviously you're wanting somebody who's paying attention to detail, is able to follow instructions, and will be a diligent worker for your company. The next step is to shortlist an interview. So it's really not difficult to find virtual assistants. You could post on Facebook and you'll probably get more applications than you would like to. There are also Facebook groups where you can post that you're recruiting. And then there's also websites like fiverr.com. And really there is no difficulty at all of finding willing virtual assistants. The skill and the difficult part is actually shortlisting them and filtering out the applications. So what I would always recommend is both an interview and a trial. You want to shortlist people, obviously. Do they just answer your questions? Do they give you a decent kind of application, CV, whatever it is that you've asked for, and then book them on a short call. And this is where you can see how they conduct themselves. Do they have fast enough internet? Can they speak good English? Do they present themselves well? Can they answer more questions about their character and their availability and their experience and things? And then I always advocate for a short trial. So give them a job to do. It could be a few hours. It could be a day of work. Pay them. It's not expensive to pay a VA, $2 or $3 an hour just for a trial, but you'll learn a lot about their work by actually doing a trial with them. You'll see if it's full of errors, if they work really slowly or if they're not really competent with the software or the tools that you've asked them to use. And that's another way of shortlisting people. And then I would recommend you offer a trial period. So it's a little bit like a probation, basically. So you can work with them for a month. They can test what it's like to work for you. You can test what it's like to work for them. And there's no hard feelings if it doesn't work out after a month, and you can, start again and hire somebody else. You can set quite a basic salary. So you just tell them, this is $2 an hour, $2.50 an hour, depending where they're from in the world. But, they can get a pay rise if they do well and they pass their probation. So $2.50 an hour is only about $400 a month. And of course, you can increase that and give them bonuses and things if they're achieving KPIs. I like to work with my VAs on Slack. So check in with them throughout the day and see how they're doing. And then, of course, if they stick with you beyond a month, beyond 6 months, beyond a year, you can just increase their base salary, or you can be offering, a bonus every time they book an appointment, or every time an appointment they book turns into a sale, things like that to reward their work. And it's a great way of them knowing that they're achieving, they're achieving, and also they're motivated to stick with you beyond, that learning phase, because that's obviously time consuming for you. Now, a little bit of a bonus is to skip all of that hiring and interviewing process and basically find a virtual assistant agency that provides fully trained VAs for you. And then you don't have to do any of the hiring. You can just contact them and say, I want a VA that can do X, Y, Z, and they'll pretty much be able to give you 1 or 2 candidates that you could choose from. Now, this is something that I can help you with. So if you are interested in sourcing a VA for $500 a month, so of course, doing it yourself, you can find someone for cheaper. $500 a month is a fully hired and trained virtual assistant for LinkedIn and cold email. Then just please DM me. I can send you more information about how we can do that. And that's a fully trained VA for $3 an hour. So that could, relieve you of some headaches of the hiring process. So yeah, just send us a DM and I'll send you more information. Okay, the next step is to build a bit of a workflow, and this is how you would work together with your VA. So I use Slack for daily communication. They can send me a message and just say, hey, I'm taking my break, or I've come back from my break, or I got this message on LinkedIn, what should I reply? So usually we work to a script. There's standard replies when people say no, thank you, or tell me more, or I'd like to book a call. But if there's an unexpected question, they can just DM me on Slack, and then I can compose a reply and send that back. I always use Google Drive. It's just such a great resource tool. As soon as you have a Google Workspace, you get unlimited Google Drive space, so you can save lots of content and documents there. You can also use tools like Trello and things like that for organizing your information. I recommend a tool called Screenshot Monitor. It's really cost effective. It's about $5 per agent or per VA. Basically, you ask them to log in, and it will screenshot their work every few minutes throughout the day. And I use it less to kind of look over their shoulder and make sure they're doing the right thing, but it's better just to be as a timesheet. So I can see when they start and when they end the day. And then at the end of the month, I can tally up, they took this day off because they had a birthday or they were sick. But I can basically estimate that they've done the work, and I can send them the right amount of pay. A good way of knowing that they're keeping on track with their work is just get them to send you an end of day Loom report. So Loom is free for up to 5-minute video recording. So all they need to do is quickly do a 1-minute scan of the, record of the number of people that they've added that day, or the number of messages they've sent, or, how they've logged data in the CRM. Or they could just send you an email with some dot points. I love a tool called LastPass, which is good for sharing passwords, because it means if I'm giving them access to my LinkedIn profile or access to my email addresses and things, because I have multiple inboxes, the VA can access those accounts, but they can never see the password. So it conceals the password. And it also means I can change the password or revoke access at any point that I'd like. It gives me control of my passwords, but it also gives them, access to those accounts and things. I also recommend you use a VPN for login to your social profiles. So for LinkedIn, Facebook, and other things, just set the VPN location that, if somebody is working from the Philippines or from India or from Mexico or from another location, get them to log into a VPN from your location so that it doesn't trigger your account to potentially be blocked, because that would go against those platforms, user agreements. As far as sending payments abroad, I use wise.com. I find it the best. It's a lot more cost effective than PayPal and other tools. But there are other platforms like Payoneer and things. Some countries don't accept Wise, so definitely look into that. And then I can also recommend, if you're really using VAs, maybe you've got to into the process and you've got multiple VAs. There's a great new app by a friend of mine called Joe Petruzzi called Nova.app, and it's something that you can use to track the KPIs of your VA. So let me just go and I'll look at some of these. So this is basically a screenshot monitor. You can see that I have one VA working, and it shows that today she's worked 7 hours and 45 minutes, but over the month she's logged this many hours. And I can go in and look in a bit more detail at the number of hours that she's worked. This is LastPass. I won't show you my dashboard, but basically you can use a personal or business account to log all your passwords and share them with your team. I use NordVPN. There's many types of VPN. Nord is quite reliable, and it's just a little app that you download and install into your computer, and then it allows them to log into your location. And this is Nova app. Okay, so it's a great app for tracking KPIs. If we look at the dashboard here of my agent, we can have a look at a report, track her progress and see whether she's on target or not. And I can look at KPIs and I can see them on a graph and things, and look at different things to see whether she's above KPI or below KPI, and track that. And this is quite cost effective. It's only about $29 per agent. So that's a really great tool to be using as well. Okay, the types of tasks to delegate to your VA is obviously, as you found, many of the repetitious tasks that might chew up your time. So building lists of targets or leads on LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So that could be account lists or lead lists. Finding and validating emails is another time-consuming process. You can get them to use your LinkedIn profile and add new connections and send welcome messages and follow-up messages according to a script. You can get them to reply to messages according to a script, and even book calls in your diary if you give them a calendar booking link. So that's just fully handled for you by a VA. You could get them to set up any automation campaigns. So if you have LinkedIn automation, or email is often automated. So just because it's fairly formulaic, you give them the instructions and they just follow the script and set the automations up for you. And yeah, of course, handling replies in email, booking calls, and updating your CRM or a spreadsheet or however else you're logging your data. Another cool thing that VAs can do is create custom Loom videos. And that's something that I'm experimenting with right now, is sending our prospects, when we're doing cold outreach, a customized Loom video of their website and things, so that they've got something that's super personalized for them and is more engaging to open up that first conversation. And that's something that you can totally systemize and get your VA to do. Now, there are other things that you can get your VA to do. So it's kind of endless, really, as long as you have a set process for them. So you can get them to post content or repost your content. So if you've created a blog, they could create short Twitter feed or, Insta posts or something from a blog. They can obviously spend a lot of time researching for you. So researching prospects, they could research personalization for your outreach messages so that you're able to send those, hyper-personalized messages. If you can hire VAs who are more qualified, so people who have video editing experience and maybe even video editing software of their own, so that you can delegate them the task of video editing or creating branded content. And then, of course, they could be managing your personal inbox or becoming almost like a personal assistant, or you could graduate some VAs to manage other VAs. So the list is endless of what you can be asking your VAs to do, as long as you have a clear process that you can have them follow. So basically, to sum it all up, if you're able to send 30 connection requests every day with personalized messages, Obviously, you don't get 100% connection rate on LinkedIn, get probably a closer to a 20 to 30% connection rate, depending on your niche, sometimes higher, sometimes lower. You can also get your VA to like and comment on posts. They can find and validate emails of the same list of people that you're connecting with on LinkedIn. And from there, they could send 30 personalized emails each day with follow-ups. All in all, it's pretty much 1,800 touch points with 600 leads each month. And that's only the starter pack. With a 4% reply rate and call booking rate, just at the start, that's 24 calls a month. And then as soon as you add another email inbox and you're able to scale your email sending, or you can add more leads to LinkedIn, because yes, you are able to add more leads to LinkedIn than the 100 per week limit, then you can get, up to 1,200 leads, and that could be potentially 48 calls each month. And so you can see that it would grow. You can add more email inboxes, add more LinkedIn profiles, and be increasing your sending and your scaling that way. So basically, the success with a VA is not complicated. You just have to have a super clear process to follow up. And that process should be in both text and video. Then have all the scripts and templates ready with all the links ready and all the CRMs and trackers and things, so that they can handle the replies and follow a clear process. But then they can also report to you on what they've done and show you the work that they've done. Also encourage just a really clear and open policy for them to check in with you and ask you questions if there's any problem. So if you would like help with this, I obviously have job description templates. You've just seen one of them. I have SOP templates. You've seen one of them. And I've already shared with you that I could help you recruit, shortlist, hire, and manage a VA for up to $500 a month for that VA salary. I can also help you troubleshoot any problems with your VA. So if a VA is not performing or a VA has left, that's something that we're able to help you hire and replace a VA. And ultimately, we're able to help you grow your team and your business. What this training wasn't able to go into detail on is exactly the process of how to find emails, or how to build a list on LinkedIn, or how to compose the script for your outreach message, or how to add more people on LinkedIn than the 100 per week limit. Those individual processes exist in other training that I've created. So definitely go and check through other videos. But what I wanted to distill for you in this short training is how you are able to do all of that with your own VA and pay them about $3 an hour or about $500 a month, fully be able to streamline and processize your outreach. So if this is something that you would like help with, please message me on LinkedIn, add me on LinkedIn, message me on Facebook, email me on Jen Bishop Consulting, or check out more videos and training at jenbishopconsulting.com. I'd love to talk to you about that process, how we can help you systemize your outreach using LinkedIn, and how you can leverage VAs to be booking you upwards of 40 calls a month. All right, that comes to the end of the training. Thanks for listening, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Bye.